Hi, everybody. I'm Sandy Duncan, intuitive medium and host of Behind the Scenes with the Rescue Mediums. For anyone unfamiliar, Rescue Mediums is a hit television show that was filmed from 2006 to 2011 and can still be seen in many countries around the world and on YouTube and on veryparanormal.com. Mediums would visit people's homes that were disturbed by spirit and rescue them into the light. Please help me welcome 4 people that made this groundbreaking series possible. Edna Dargie, Director of Research. Michael Lamport, Producer, Writer, Narrator, Actor. Jackie Dennison, Rescue Medium, International Medium, and Psychic Artist. And Alison Wynne-Ryder, Rescue Medium, International Medium, and author of the fantastic book, The Quirky Medium, The Extraordinary Life of an Unlikely Clairvoyant. Welcome, everybody.
Hi, Sandy.
Hey, Sandy.
We're back to have fun today.
Yay!
Hey! It's really good. It's really good to see everybody. Edna, I think that from what we're going to talk about today, I can pass over to you to go over call sheets, kind of explain the skeletal framework of how an episode would come together. But the first one, with everyone's permission, I'd like to describe is known as Season 5, Episode 12. It took place in Whitby. So just as a little sort of reminder, there were 4 roommates and they were experiencing being followed by spirit. The girls suffered from insomnia. There was a male spirit angry about construction that was being done.
It all started with just the beginning of the construction. That was really when it started kicking off. And at this point in time, we were hearing footsteps.
And it sounded like someone was walking upstairs.
Like someone is up in this specific room, just running from side to side.
When we went up there was nothing up there.
Alison, you connected with a spirit right away and was overshadowed by a female spirit. Yeah. Jackie connected with a male spirit and was overshadowed by the male spirit. Mm-hmm. You pointed out that spirits in different dimensions can actually come back and help each other and find each other. And the people being rescued ended up being Mayor William Lang and his wife Louisa. And the house that the renters occupied was actually built on some of his original land. So there's a little catch up for you. How do you remember that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So I think there was we suffered quite a lot of physical pains with that one, I think, Alison, didn't we?
We did. You had really bad stomach pains, didn't you? I remember that distinctly.
That's right, yeah.
I was with her. I was with the female.
Yeah.
I nearly fainted. Is this the one where I nearly fainted?
Oh gosh, yeah. I think you felt dizzy, didn't you? You started feeling dizzy, and then you thought you were going to black out.
Yeah.
And you were being overshadowed.
You're dizzy, Alison.
She was having twins. She was giving birth to twins, and she died.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
She died giving birth to the twins, and only one of them lived. It was heartrending.
And twins. His wife died, Louisa, in childbirth, giving birth to twins.
Louisa died on September the 19th, 1864, giving birth to twins. Only one of the infants survived, a boy named Louis.
Yeah.
It was really, really emotional, really emotional.
It was, and it was affecting everybody in that house, wasn't it?
All of the young people in that house, and they were so lovely, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, the girls and the boys in the house.
I remember us having to wear green wellies to get there. That's the thing. You know that you're going to what your mode of transport is going to be when they give you a pair of green wellies.
Yeah. We're walking.
We're walking.
In the sludge, definitely. What was interesting about that one, and I'd forgotten about this. I've watched a couple of them again to sort of familiarise myself, because you forget them all. that they said that they had 2 psychics that came to the house way before we went. One of the property was that strong, and we remember that, don't we? And what happened?
God,
but one of the psychics wouldn't even go into the property.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was that strong.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
We actually had 2 other psychics, we called them, and one of them wouldn't even step foot in the house.
And it was very strong.
When you originally visited Michael, you know, before we went there, did you and Edna visit together?
I don't remember. Edna, did we?
I believe we did. At that,
Yeah.
that we were usually visiting them together.
Yeah.
Can you remember?
I remember it being an interesting place. But I mean, one of the practical things I remember about it when we were shooting is because, like you say, Alison, there was construction outside.
Yeah.
I remember going up to the construction people and saying, okay, can you just stop for a minute while we film this? Because we don't want to hear the construction noise in the background.
Yeah.
That's the practical things that you go through.
Yeah. Yeah, of course, we never
Yeah,
think
we
about
never thought of that, actually.
Yeah.
Well, we just go in and do our thing, don't we, Jackie? So it's all the background stuff that you and Edna are doing, and the rest of the crew, we just turn up, don't we?
We do. Was that in the call sheet notes, Edna, about the construction?
No, actually it wasn't. And yet that's a fairly critical piece, because the whole property was being closed up. I think they'd had maybe an oil spill from their furnace, so it became an environmental issue. So there was a lot of the whole property was being dug up a fair bit. But I'm just looking at the call sheet right now, and no, I guess it was not mentioned in print. Surely everyone was advised of it, though.
Yeah. Yeah, hence the wellies.
Yes.
Get through the mud, walk on the planks to get to the...
Those of you that are listening that don't know what wellies are,
Oh.
it's an English term for Wellington boots, which are what you wear in the rain.
Yeah.
So I know there's a lot of people out there listening right now that are going, oh, we had to wear wellies.
Yeah.
What are they? Underwear? No.
Very British description, that, isn't it? Wellies.
Got my welly box on.
Welly gogs.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Edna, where did we do the where did we film the premonitions with that one? Is that on that call sheet?
Yes, I've got actually the day 1 call sheet here.
Oh wow.
And it lists everybody involved, the whole crew, plus everyone in the background as well, including stylists, sound recordists, anyone really involved, even where all the equipment comes from with phone numbers, and the detail is quite amazing. The nearest hospital is listed.
Oh,
wow. Always important. And yeah, so the very on the very first day 1, the very first thing is travel to premonition location.
Can I just ask a question quickly about that? So when the premonitions were done, wherever they were done, did you ever find that that area was haunted, or did you ever get messages from spirit outside of the premonitions to make you feel that that space was haunted?
Well, we know that one of the locations was haunted because we filmed at Michael's house, and that's haunted by my great uncle Oliver.
Yeah.
Who may show up any moment on the stairs here. I hope he does.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting question, Sandy.
It is.
I think because we're so focused on the purpose of the moment, we wouldn't be aware. Our guides would say, no, you've got to deal with this, you know, if there's anything else, then you know you can deal with that later, but right now you need to focus on this. So we were really sort of very, very focused on that particular episode that we would be working on. That doesn't mean to say that, I mean, we have stayed in some very haunted locations when we've had to, you know, stay over at different places because it's too far to travel backwards and forwards. And but I don't know how you deal with this, Alison, but I always say to my guides, you know, do not let anybody come through. I'm off duty and I need to concentrate on what I'm doing now. So don't let anybody through. So unless it's an emergency, keep the door closed.
I don't even say anything to mine. I think the whole point is because the intent is that we're going to the haunted property, so they just sort of, our guides will come in anyway, won't they, and sort of make sure that we're just dealing with the job in hand. But like you say at Michael's, you know, you do pick up on like little bits and pieces, don't you? And like you said, when we're away on location and we're doing, you know, the premonition sort of, because it's too far away from where we were staying, then little bits and pieces, but predominantly I agree with you that our guides make sure that we're just dealing with, you know, the premonitions and getting everything set up to where we're going. And of course, we never know where we're going. So,
And I think that's what people that watch the show have to remember. The arrivals are fun. The cheers at the end are fun. But the basic content of the show is, I keep saying this, it's absolutely real. Because Jackie and Alison, there's no script, there's nothing. It's just what they feel. And we only shoot it once. And I think that that's really significant for people to know about the show. And I know there'll be a lot of cynics out there that go like, oh no, you set this up. Well, I'm here to tell you that we set nothing up. Which is why sometimes things come crashing down around us.
Definitely.
And kept secret until now. Although days earlier, they had some disturbing premonitions.
Banging doors and doors that open and shut on their own.
Disturbed sleep.
Shadowy figure that moves, that's seen mainly at night.
I think somebody in the house feels that they're really being watched.
I just saw a man standing in the corner of my bedroom, staring over my bed, watching me sleep.
Edna, I just wanted to go back to the sheet you held up because it looked really intense.
Okay, so on this particular episode, the crew had to be, in this case, it was at Michael's house to set up the cameras and everything. And at 11 o'clock, I believe I brought the ladies. I'd pick them up at the hotel and take them to Michael's house. And the premonitions would be on camera for, let's see, about an hour was designated for that.
British connection, chronic stomach pains.
And twins.
Oh.
Yeah.
In addition to their premonitions, the rescue mediums have created these psychic drawings of what they expect to find during their investigation.
Very upstanding member of the community, you know.
It reminds me of sort of like a mayor of a town or something like that.
Yeah.
There's just been so many things. Radios will turn on by themselves.
My bedroom light turns on and off.
The deadbolt locked itself.
This arm kind of reach up towards my chest.
We actually had 2 other psychics, we called them, and one of them wouldn't even step foot in the house.
And then there was an hour to travel to the next location. So at 1 o'clock, the crew was interviewing the homeowners. In this case, the 4 people that were living in the house. And they would get their story at this point of what they'd been experiencing in the home. Then at 2 o'clock, I would bring Alison and Jackie to the actual home. And it was always fun on the ride there because I had the list of premonitions. I had in my head everything that might happen, all the a lot of information. And then it was fun as we drive along. Some of the premonition clues might pop up on a sign at the side of the road. Like do you remember the Big Apple?
Yeah.
Big Apple sign at one point, or I say, oh, that's where it is. That's what it is. So the guides would set that up for you, wouldn't they? All the way en route.
Yeah.
That was fun. And then I could just, okay, I can cross that one off. I know what that one is. I know what that one is. We go there. And at least it was useful for me too, because I knew it wasn't a clue or a premonition that actually related to the house and the rescue itself. So I could eliminate it.
Right.
And it's always useful. So you'd arrive at the door at 2:00, and the actual way that you arrived, though, isn't shot yet. That was shot the next day, usually. And it would be squeezed in. But you would knock on the door and you'd meet the 4 people and go inside. And that's until 4:30. And you would, so it's 2.5 hours was allotted to saying hello to them, sitting down with them, and sharing your premonitions with them.
That's amazing, Edna, because I've known you for years and years, as you know, and your preciseness, like what you're saying right now, it's like, you know, at 4:32, you did this. It never ceased to amaze me. And I'm not saying it's annoying, but you're just very good at it.
Well, it was the production manager that creates the call sheets and writes the specifics, and she knows how long it should take for everything. And the time is of the essence here, because we have to you have to depend on daylight for the shooting.
Yep.
You have to get certain things done at a certain time. We have to allow for meals. People do have to eat. It can be tricky.
Yeah, and also the homeowners themselves. We have to adapt a little bit, not a little bit, a lot, to their schedule. You know, what if they've got to go and pick their kids up from school, or you know, whatever. So we got to function our intrusion around them as best we can.
It's their home, isn't it?
Oh yeah. At this point, as soon as that was shot, Michael, you'd often take the homeowners away for dinner or something.
Yes.
You would, because they have to be removed from the house.
Yes.
Wow. From this
So I'd usually take them out to somewhere that wasn't expensive. And we'd have dinner, and I would just let them talk. And I would talk to them a little bit about what we're doing. And then a couple of hours later, we'd go back. Yeah, you're right.
So they've allotted then at 4:30, 45 minutes to do an exterior walkabout around the property. And that's where you pick up on what there might be around on the outside. And of course, I'm listening the whole time. Okay, yep. Tick off that premonition, tick off that one. Yep. And I always make all notes of every word that I'm hearing, because it might be a loaded clue. Then
5 minutes, sorry, doesn't seem like very long.
Well, it depends on the property. And I think in this particular one, we were limited to where you could walk outside because of that construction.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. I seem to remember with that one, Alison, as we walked outside, you had an image in your mind of a mansion that was connected to the land, or to the person who may be haunting the land.
Yeah.
I just have a vision of a really, really old mansion type house. standing really grand in these grounds. I feel like I'm encroaching onto somebody's space in a way.
Private space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I bet when you said that, Edna's going, oh, mansion. I'm going to have a look. Which mansion is it? Is it still here or has it been demolished? What did you think, Edna, when you heard Alison say that? The mansion?
Oh, probably exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
Can I just ask, Edna, do you ever get frustrated where there's something that's probably, you know, I don't know, sort of sometimes when we're saying things and you might even have an idea of, what's going on, but we're like off point, or does that not happen? Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, sometimes I get really excited. And if you're not around, I know sometimes the cameramen, they'll turn and look at me like, is that a good one? Is that good? Like,
yeah, we've been not aware of that.
But around you guys know I'm poker face.
Yeah, you definitely are. You're poker face right from the start until after we finished everything, and then we can share everything with you. Well, and you can share sort of research material with us after we've done the investigation and the rescue.
So
do you know what, Edna? Sorry. Okay. I'm sitting here and I'm listening to this, and it's phenomenal, the call sheet, how structured it is.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly, hand on heart, I don't know about you, Jackie, but I didn't know we were being timed. I didn't know that, honestly. I didn't know there were specific times for the different parts of the show, like, how long, how long we're with the homeowners, how long we're doing the walkabout and all that. It's amazing, but I'm glad I didn't know, because then I don't have to get worried about that,
No, you're right. And one of the reasons that we didn't tell you the time based on the call sheet is exactly what you just said.
Right, yeah.
You guys have to be completely free to do whatever you want to do. And if it extends the call sheet time, so be it.
I was going to ask that. What happens if we go over the allotted time?
I was just going to ask that, yeah.
No,
when Edna comes in and gives us a swift kick. Beats us with a broomstick.
The one.
Yeah.
Or maybe when we do another episode, I'll bring a broomstick with me.
Oh dear.
No, it is just an estimate, and that structure needs to be there. And often it didn't stick to this. But I think the production managers did really a wonderful job in getting an estimate of what they thought it would take.
Oh, definitely.
Okay, the next part, after you walked around outside the property, the house there, we then have 2 hours, 5:15 to 7:15 in the evening, to do an interior walkabout. And Michael, is it correct that had to do with daylight as well?
Yes.
You want to do the outside first while it's a daylight, and this was in January. This particular day, it was January 19th.
Oh.
Yeah, so don't forget that, as you're saying, Edna, that the sun goes down in Canada, well, all over the world, quickly in January. So we have to do it outside.
Well, the production manager puts down the sunrise and sunset, and the sunset on this day was 5:11 p.m. So that's when you go inside as soon as the sun goes down.
We'll then shoot our exteriors in the daylight, which means that we don't have to light it, but we can light and shoot interiors like forever. So you're right.
Right. So that's 2 hours of going inside. And this is significant because it's your walk around of getting in as much information, but I don't think you allow the spirits to get too close to you at this point, do you?
No, you're absolutely right, Edna. We see where we can feel the energy changes. So we work very much with energy change, and how it feels in all. Are we drawn more to one place or another? And of course, that can all change when we start the rescue anyway, especially if you've got a spirit that's moving around a lot. So we may be aware of spirit energy being there then, maybe following us around, or just, you know, being nosy, seeing what we're up to, what, you know, what are they doing here, and just keeping their eye on us. But we are our guides. It's like it's not the right time to deal with this right now. We just need to get a sense of the place first, especially if it's a big place. If it's a small place, it's not so bad. It's quite a, you know, a quick walk through, and yeah, we feel, but it can all change, can't it, Alison? Once we start working, when we start working with the rescue, it can completely change. So it's just about sort of, let's just gauge it before we start.
Now, Jackie and Alison, do your, because I've never asked you guys this, if your guides speak to you while you're about to do a rescue, do they change your direction? Do they change what your intent is? I mean, because I don't know. I mean, I think I have a spirit guide, but I think he just tells me to stop drinking wine. But do they give you a direction to go in?
Oh yeah.
It's listening to them and just seeing, you know, where they're guiding us to go. I don't think they changed the direction, because I think sort of the intent's there from the start. But I tell you what, we couldn't do what we do, Jackie, could we, without our fantastic spirit teams?
No, absolutely not. Yeah, it is. And you said team, and it is. It is a team. It's you and I and our guide. That's it. That's the team. Yeah. And a damn good team it is too.
I was going to swear then. I was going to say it's a Be Good team.
Question about that, Edna and everybody. So, following that formula of outside first, inside after it gets dark, with so much experience doing that on the show, in your private practice, I don't know what else to call it, when Jackie and Alison and you do spirit rescue work now, do you follow that same sort of formula? Does the house energy change, I guess, is what I'm asking, in the evening?
Well, for me, it is rescue mediums has been born out of what I already did. So I did spirit rescue work, and that's how rescue mediums came about, because Michael got to hear about the spirit rescue work that I was doing with Christine. So so it's always been the same. So it's the same for me now, in that it's just rescue mediums has the formula, because it has to work for the homeowners and for everyone else, you know, the crew and everyone. But we would I would go to a property, and I would deal with everything as and when I was there, you know. So talk to the homeowner, do the walk around, then decide how I'm going to deal with the situation, ask my spirit guides, and again, I have a team that I usually work with on the earth plane, you know, at home. So I have a spirit team there, so and I have a team, physical team as well. So it's the same for me, but it's done in one day. Sometimes I've had to go back to deal with it again, you know, like, we'll just deal with this so far, can't get anything, we'll come back again, or let's see if we've dealt with this. And other times you're dealing with layers of things, so you have to deal with one layer at a time. So it can just be a few hours, or it can be like a day and a night. It can be, you know, it's not always night time though. Have you found that, Alison?
When you were asking that question, Sandy, do you mean, is it only night time when the spirit seems to be the strongest? Or do you mean that or are you talking about us only going at at night time,
A bit
or
of both. Like I was just wondering, I have a friend who swears that the energy in houses or offices or buildings changes at night, and people's energy changes at night. Something, maybe the production managers, Edna, had that in mind when they were doing the planning.
I think because it's quieter at night. So if you're busy during the day, or the homeowners are busy during the day, they're not noticing as much sort of unexplained activity. Whereas at night, when they're in bed, the light's out, and they will be hearing and sensing more. So everything does seem sort of more sensitive then. But I do similar to you, Jackie. What I do is I go on my own, and I sort of have a walkabout, have a quick chat with whoever. I mean, it's obviously different, but because it's not filmed like it is, and I'm not timed by a call sheet, although I probably should be actually. And then I see what I pick up, and I actually I try and do a bit of psychic art, which might give me clues to when I go back. But when I go back, I take my small team. I've got 3 people here that work with me, so there's 4 of us. Well, all 3 of them can't always come. As long as I've got at least one person with me, then that's how I deal with it. But the concept's similar.
It's very interesting, isn't it? Because I think everybody that's watching this, whether they believe or don't believe in the spirit aspect, is nobody really wants to go downstairs into a dark basement at midnight. Because we're all friend of it. I mean, I am, and I know, because of what you 2 have taught me, I know how to speak to the spirit and just say, you know what, just go away for a minute, please. But I don't do that. I just go down there shaking like a leaf in a terrible windstorm. It's frightening for many, many people.
Yeah, I think it's just the thought of a basement, isn't it?
Yeah.
And yet some of the basements that we've been to are absolutely beautiful,
Oh, yeah.
I know.
We don't have that here in England in the same way. I know you make use of the basements there in the houses in Canada, which I think is awesome, absolutely brilliant, because we've been to some amazing places.
I have one, and we don't call it a basement, we call it the underbuild, and that's where I am.
You're in the underbuild.
It's where I do my work, so it's a completely separate house, I suppose, for want of a better word, because these houses are sort of built upwards rather than sort of that way.
Yeah.
So we've got sort of different terraces. So we've got the terrace out here of the underbuild. Then you go up the stairs. It's separate as well. So I've not got people walking that come for readings. I've not got people walking through where we live. It's a completely separate entrance. And then we've got stairs that go up onto the roof terrace. So but I love this. I mean, it isn't creepy. But I must admit, when we first moved here, when I came in, it felt odd down here. But apparently, well, I don't want to say too much, but possibly because of the people that lived here beforehand. And I had to smudge everywhere and cleanse everywhere. And, once my energy came in and I started working down here then, and it's absolutely fine. It's lovely feeling.
I love the word underbuilt.
Yeah.
And I think that we should use that around the world instead of saying, this is my basement. No, this is my underbuilt.
Yeah.
It's just something that sounds really magical about that.
Yeah.
That's great. So Edna, on the timesheet, can you give us an idea of when it ended? Like how many hours were allotted in a day?
Well, we're close to the end now.
Okay.
According to this, after the interior walkabout, which on this sheet ended around 7:15, I would have taken Jackie and Alison back to their hotel, and we'd have dinner on the way probably. And meanwhile, the crew is still at the location, and they're shooting the night POV. the interior and the exterior. So they're shooting all the bits that maybe the 4 people that were interviewed, anything they talked about, they'd go back and shoot little bits that Alison and Jackie had talked about. They'll have dinner, and then they'll, they had a ghost cam that they would set up at 9 o'clock. And I don't know, maybe Michael, you know a little bit more about it?
No, I actually don't, because I do remember them setting up a ghost cam. But I do remember thinking, as the producer, that one of the problems is going to be if you run that ghost cam for like 5 hours, you're going to run out of batteries. And if you don't get anything, then what's the point of doing the ghost cam? Mm-hmm. I remember that. And that's me being cynical.
Did you ever get footage from the ghost cam that was used in the show? Must have.
You know what? That's a great question. And I'll have to save that for another episode because I don't recall. I'll have to look.
Okay. So, yeah, that's the end of the first day. Probably it'd be 9:30 or 10 by the time Jackie and Alison were back at their hotel, and then another 45 minutes for me to get home, and then we'd be ready for the next day.
Mm-hmm. You know what? On the way back from each of the locations, when we've just done the walkabout, and then we go back and we do have dinner, usually on the way somewhere. Because our heads are still in where we've just been, so Alison and I are sort of talking about, oh, I wonder if it's this, or I wonder if it's that. And we're talking about what we've just experienced and what we both felt. And Edna is still poker-faced.
Yes,
and because she's, we might be coming up with something, and she might be thinking, oh my gosh, yeah, that really fits in with what I know has been going on in the area, or that fits with what the homeowners have already told us, because of course we don't know what the homeowners have said on camera. Right. We're not privy to that. In fact, we only see that, don't we, Alison, when the whole thing, the whole episode is put together, and then we watch it, and then we see the homeowners talking for the first time about what they've experienced. So
it's amazing. It is amazing to watch the whole, and we have surprises as well, don't we?
We do,
because if you're overshadowed, there'll be a lot that you won't remember, and vice versa for me. And there'll be bits that we've said, whilst we're overshadowed, that you just don't remember saying. So, when Michael said the whole thing is real, it's not scripted, it is exactly that. It's just as it is, And I know we've said before, we sometimes swear a little on camera, but that's real as well.
And the funny thing too is what you said, Jackie, about Edna being poker face. I mean, for those of you that are watching this for the first time and don't know, Edna for many, many years was a teacher and a vice principal, and I think a principal.
Yes.
And so when you were a kid and you were ushered into her office to probably be disciplined, she would probably look at you like, no, there's nothing wrong. And then she'd put you in jail. But I don't think she did that.
Edna is perfect for this job because, she's got a natural, inquisitive mind that wants to solve problems, and she's so good at pulling everything together. I mean, she's amazing, absolutely amazing. I really don't know how she's got the results that she has. I mean, Alison and I just go around talking to ghosts, and then Edna's got to put it all together.
I'll second that. She is amazing. And how you write every single thing down that we say, and without missing anything, and then you're pulling it all together and all the research, and it is amazing.
Yeah, I know. And the thing is that Edna actually writes it down on a piece of paper, which these days I mean, do you really need to do that? And you just put your iPhone on and record it.
Yeah.
But she loves writing it down.
But Edna, your intuitive abilities would help you as well, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Definitely.
Spirit guides tapping you. Write this down. You'll need this on a behind the scenes years from now. Stop, write it down.
Love it.
That's great. So that's the end of the day. Everyone's back home?
Yep.
Okay, that's fantastic, Edna and everyone. I'm looking forward to hearing more about the call sheets next time. So I'm hoping we can pick it up where we left off. It's fascinating. Thanks, everybody. And thanks, everyone, for watching. Jackie, are you going to lead us in a cheers?
Of course. I've got my special mug today. I don't know if you can see that or not, because we've got this background to me. So if I do that, you can see that. Yeah. So look at this. Now this is really, really special. It was designed by my granddaughter. She's 8 years old, because we've had floods here in England, and so she thought she was going to design a mug to raise money for those who have lost things in the flood, for all the flood victims. So she designed it, and my daughter made it. So, so there we are. It's been shipped. So I'll do a cheers with this.
That's really nice.
That's beautiful.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Thanks for watching, everyone. See you next time.
Thanks, Sandy.